athletes, I want to give you an advantage. I want to give you an edge that very few coaches talk about. They understand it to a certain degree, but I want to give you something that you can take that can impact your performance as quick as tomorrow. Something that you can start to bring awareness to, something that is going to impact your performance on the field and off the field. So let me share something with you really quick. So every single day, we're faced with 35,000 decisions. 35,000 decisions from the very second that we wake up. Do we get out of bed or do we continue to lay in bed? Do we brush our teeth or do we get dressed? Do we go downstairs to eat? Do I read a book? Do I stretch? What do I do? 35,000 decisions. Now, how does this impact you as an athlete? Because that happens to everyone, right? Everyone has to wake up and get out of bed in the same way, right? So the 35,000 adds up over a 24-hour period. So how does that affect you as an athlete? How does that give you an edge as an athlete? So what happens is most of us, either as athletes or as non-athletes, we hit what's called decision fatigue. Decision fatigue. So what that means is this 35,000 decisions, it wears on us. It drains us. It makes us feel tired. Have you ever gone through a day and you haven't done much physically, but you just feel exhausted, you just feel tired, you just feel worn out? Even though you might not have moved your body that much, even though you might have not have exerted that much energy physically? It's because your brain was constantly working. So what happens on a day-to-day basis is we have what's called decision fatigue. So we get to making thousands of decisions. A lot of time we're making them unconsciously, but our brain is still processing all of the different variables. So our brain is extremely powerful in an aspect of that it's like a computer. It's taking hundreds of different data points in every scenario without us even knowing it, and it's determining the best course of action. And it's doing this 35,000 times a day. 35,000 times a day. He's making 35,000 decisions, going through hundreds of variables in each decision. So if you multiply 35,000, just, for simplicity's sake of numbers, times 100 variables in each decision, all of a sudden you just add 2 zeros to that. And all of a sudden you're in the millions, right? So your brain is processing millions of different data points every single day. So what does that mean for you as an athlete? How can that help you as an athlete? This is where the strict discipline of having routines in place comes into play. And I'm not talking about a half-ass routine. I'm not talking about a routine where, okay, sometimes I feel like doing this, sometimes I feel like doing that. I'm talking about a strict, sound routine in all of the aspects that are going to affect your performance. So the number one thing that is going to affect your performance is what you do right before the competition. So your pre-game, your pre-competition routine, what does that look like? What do you say to yourself? How do you say it to yourself? Who's talking to you? Who are you talking to? What are you doing with your body physically? So instead of trying to decide during a competition or right before your competition is about to start, before trying to decide before your game is about to start, okay, some days when I warm up before a game or I warm up for a competition, I do, A, B, and C physically. And sometimes I do A, B, and D. Well, you're constantly adding to this number. You're constantly adding to this 35,000. You're constantly contributing to decision fatigue. Let me ask you a question. This has happened to all athletes. Have you ever been in a game and you just made a decision quickly without even thinking about it? We've all been there. We've all done it. It's a great feeling, right? Just decide and go for it. But we've also been on the flip side of that where this decision fatigue is actually gotten to us, right? And we're just mentally drained. We're tired. We're just worn down, right? And our decision making is incorrect. It's slow. It's not at the level that we need to perform. I mean, you can you can look at any elite athlete, you can talk to any elite athlete. Mental clarity, mental focus, the energy that you have from the mental side of the game is of utmost importance. I don't know of any elite athlete that ever said, yeah, I just wasn't there mentally today and I still had a great performance. No, the mental side is what you need to have energy for. The mental side is what you need to have clarity for. So this decision fatigue, having a sound routine. And here's the thing, here's a component, here's a nugget that not a lot of people understand. If I have a strict routine, I'm talking about having a strict and sound routine on the day of a competition. Here's the nugget that people don't understand is that part of that routine can have a sense of flexibility. I'm stumbling to spit it out, right? But a part of that strict routine is allowing yourself to be flexible. I'll give you a perfect example of some flexibility that you can have on a pregame routine, okay? Pre-COVID, all right, we had what was called live competitions, right? I know it seems like a foreign thing to us. And what did they have? They had like 17,000 at the AFC Championship in a 70,000 stadium. But anyways, the point being is we have fans. I'm giving you guys an example of allowing yourself flexibility. We have fans in the stadium during normal competition without COVID, right? So part of that flexibility would be allowing yourself, okay, I'm going to allow myself 5 or 10 minutes before every single game to go interact with the fans, to go say hi to my family. And that is flexibility within a strict routine. A lot of people don't understand that. They say, okay, you got to have a strict routine, or you just need to be free and you need to be flexible. Well, no, you can actually balance the two. You can combine the two and you can have the two work together. You see professional players, playing catch with young fans before the game or talking to fans before the game. Well, they don't just free ball it every single time that they have a game. That's strategic. That's part of their routine that allows them to perform at their best. And there's probably times where there's professional athletes that are interacting with fans and they allow it to go on too long. And on the flip side of that, there's probably athletes that need to allow themselves a little bit more freedom, a little bit more flexibility to do it more often. But the point being, circling back around to decision fatigue, is you want to be able to eliminate as many decisions as possible. That's where the routine comes into place. If you have a strict and a sound routine, then you don't have to decide to do A, B, and C. You just understand that you already have a routine in place, and A, B, C is no question. There's no second thought. There's no decision to make. It's already set. It's already certain that is what you're going to do. Then all of a sudden you free up this mental space, this mental capacity where this doesn't become an issue, and you have more clarity, more focus. But very, very, very few coaches are talking about decision fatigue. If you asked any athlete, if you asked yourself, if you asked any of your teammates, I'm sure they would all agree that mental clarity, mental focus is extremely important when you step on the field, when you step on the mat, when you step on the court. But on the flip side of that, some of the things that are taking away from that mental clarity is this 35,000 decisions. But nobody teaches us how to simplify that. Nobody teaches us that, okay, we are making 35,000 decisions without even realizing it. How can I simplify things? How can I be more consistent as a performer? Because what I just shared with you is going to allow you to be more consistent. It's going to allow you to have a more sound, a more fundamental approach to your pregame routine. And again, a big part of that could be having flexibility in your pregame routine. But anyways, we could talk about this for a long time. The big points to understand is that we're faced with thousands of decisions every single day. If you want more mental clarity, if you want more mental focus as an athlete, when you step onto the court, when you step onto the mat, when you step onto the field for a competition, then you would be greatly served to reduce this number. And a perfect way to do that, a perfect place to start, is simplifying your routine where you have exactly what you need to do for your performance. Because one of the biggest components of success in athletics is consistency. So if we simplify our decision-making process, if we have our routine set in place for our recovery, our sleep, our nutrition, our pregame activities, then all of a sudden we simplified this. We've given ourselves more mental clarity on a more consistent basis, and we've allowed for more consistency. But what often happens is athletes don't really understand that they're making so many decisions throughout the day that they would be better served to simplify, not sometimes doing A, B, and C, not sometimes doing this pregame routine and sometimes doing that. I'm talking about having a purpose and having an outcome behind every single little component. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, please smash that subscribe button down below and leave your questions in the comment section, because that's the inspiration behind these videos to help serve you guys specifically with what you're struggling with. And if you'd like to take things a step further, check the links in the description below. If you're interested in our coaching, if you're interested in checking me out on other platforms and connecting with me there, if you're interested in some of our other free training, definitely check it out in the description below. And I will see you guys on the next video.